Hey everyone, PAC-PREZ here, and I want to talk about a topic that customers ask me about quite a lot. And in fact, I would say the industry laughed at me probably 10 or 12 years ago when I told them what I was going to do. And that is no more hardened steel, and let's get rid of brass as much as we can for the material that you use to make a padlock, and instead transition to aluminum and stainless steel as your primary two body materials when you're making padlocks. Why is that? Well, let's first take a step back into history. How did brass even become kind of this well-known, ubiquitous, that's what we use for kind of affordable padlocks, right? 80, 90, 100 years ago, long before my time, I like to think, brass became the padlock material of choice because it was relatively inexpensive as compared to aluminum. Aluminum was very expensive 70, 80, 90 years ago. Brass was very cheap. When you compare brass and aluminum, they're both soft materials. They're easy to drill. They're both weather resistant. They're good choices for a low cost, right, highly durable, weatherproof body material. It's just 70, 80 years ago, brass was much cheaper. So aluminum was out, brass was in, and what's happened is over the past 60, 70 years, that's what everyone's bought. Past 10 years though, that's flipped. Brass is now more expensive than aluminum, and considerably more. It's becoming more difficult to even find to buy as a manufacturer to go manufacture with. Aluminum though, much easier to find, much more cost effective. And on top of that, you get the colors to boot, from brown to green to blue to black, that you can't do with brass. So that's what you're seeing in PACLOCK now. We're kind of pushing brass to the side. Yes, we sell it. If you say PACLOCK, I gotta have brass, we'll do it. We don't like it. What's gonna happen is, if you bought that padlock made out of aluminum, let's call it $50. Hey Greg, I gotta have it out of brass because my customer just says it has to be brass. Okay, fine. That's probably gonna be a $70 or an $80 padlock. And in my mind, you're burning your money. You're wasting your money. And that's not a good thing. Aluminum will hold up just as well as that brass. The only difference I could see that I can't argue against about brass being better than aluminum is just heavier. Brass is heavier. So if I'm a dumb consumer and I get these two padlocks and one's made of aluminum, one's made of brass, naturally in my mind, I'm thinking that brass one's way better. Oh my gosh, it's heavy, it's stronger. Just think back 20 years ago when you used to get the free cameras, right? When you bought a certain number of magazines or this or that, there was a big episode put out on Consumer Reports about how these cameras felt great quality, but it was because the company was putting a big chunk of lead inside of this really crappy plastic camera, but people thought it was a great camera. Take it apart, big chunk of lead. So I'm not here to say that brass is as crappy as a camera with a big chunk of lead in it, but my point is, start thinking differently, right? Don't be stuck on I have to have a brass padlock when aluminum's just as good, if not better, and you're getting your color options. Now, let's talk about hardened steel. Hardened steel, right, that needs to go also. 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, great material. I got bolt cutters. I need my shackle made out of hardened steel, so you can't cut it. I don't want someone to cut my shackle. No one's using bolt cutters anymore, right? Today, we're using angle grinders, and not just any old angle grinder, a battery-powered angle grinder. You see it on TV shows, you see it everywhere. They're cutting through that shackle, and if it's hardened steel, it actually makes it easier to cut through. So why make a padlock body out of hardened steel, especially when today manufacturing in the States, like PACLOCK is on our lock bodies, once I manufacture that raw steel, I need to send it out. I got to get it heat treated, right? I got to get it case hardened. I have to get it plated after that. And the problem is all of those types of services are becoming very expensive in America because they're getting shut down and all that sort of stuff. It's not great for the environment. So what's the alternative? Stainless steel. If you want true high security, you don't buy a hardened steel padlock anymore. You buy a stainless steel padlock. And not just any stainless steel, right? There's different grades of stainless steel. So if you don't know your stainless steels, there aren't just different grades, there's different families. But generally speaking, when you're talking about stainless steel, it's not going to rust. You're talking the 300 series of stainless steel. 300, 301, 302, 304, 316. All right? Now, 304 and 316 are the two grades of stainless steel that, generally speaking, everyone in the industry, materials analysis will tell you, those are the two grades of stainless steel that are going to be your rust-proof stainless steel. Anything below that, 303, 302, 300, you will see rusting over time, especially if you're near a salt environment, like you're on the coast somewhere near the ocean. You will see rusting on that stainless steel. A lot of lock manufacturers that make stainless steel padlocks make it out of 302, 301. Why? Because 304 or 316 is extremely difficult to machine. Very difficult. The material is actually relatively soft, right? When you're cutting the chips to make the hole, the heat doesn't transfer to the chips like it does with normal steel. The heat stays in the body. And the problem with that, as I'm drilling that hole, if the heat stays in the body and I'm heating up the body, the material I'm trying to cut, as I heat it up, 304 and 316 will work hardened, right? So the padlock body, as I'm trying to cut it, if I don't keep that temperature right, if I'm not evacuating the chips properly, I'm going to heat up what I'm trying to cut, the surface of what I'm trying to cut. And as I heat that up, the material is going to get harder. It's going to get harder. And if it gets harder, now my drill is going to heat it up even more, which makes it even harder. And you can see what happens with that cycle, that ultimately I'm going to break my drill. It's very difficult to machine 304 and 316. It is. But that also makes it a great material for padlock bodies, because if someone tries to come and saw it, drill it, or otherwise get after that, they're going to have a hard time. Now, as far as I know, as of 2025, PACLOCK's the only manufacturer out there making padlocks out of 304 stainless. No one else is doing it because it's extremely difficult to do, but that's what we do here at PACLOCK. If you look at the U.S. military, they make 3 classifications of padlocks. They have a low security padlock, a medium security padlock. They call it something else, but it's just called medium security. And then they make their high security padlock. 3 classifications. That high security padlock, that is your $3,000 of padlock, okay? This locks up your nuclear weapons that are on board a Trident missile sub. This is your heavy duty padlock. It's made from stainless steel. It's made from 304 stainless steel. It's not made from hardened steel. It's not made from brass. It's made out of stainless steel, and it's been that way for over 20 or 30 years. So if that's what the U.S. military says a high security padlock should be made out of, that's what you should be demanding when you're talking about a high security padlock. You want 304 stainless steel, and you'll get that from PACLOCK. So just kind of rehashing here, brass, hardened steel, get away from those padlock bodies. You don't want them anymore. You want to move to aluminum to keep costs down, to keep that rust protection up, and you got your color selection. And when you need that high security padlock body, then you're moving over to stainless steel. All right, it's been a PAC-PREZ moment. Appreciate you guys watching. Let us know what questions you got. We're here for you.